My feet so fat I can't get into my roller skates. And my neck and chest don't fit anymore. Look at this. It's a stick up. It don't work. I do this at a bank robbery. I look like a fool.
Yo, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing? We are back. We are back this time around doing another Power Up podcast episode. We are live on the Big Five: YouTube, Rumble, X, Kick, and Twitch. So whichever of those platforms you enjoy the most, by all means, go and hang out there. If you're new, and you want to support the channel, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on notifications to get notified when we go live. And why would one do that? Well, if you enjoy retro gaming, if you enjoy pop culture talk, and you enjoy gingers, and just want to be a part of the #1 retro gaming / pop culture channel in all of existence, hosted by a super elite, that is the reason why you should like and subscribe. And that is me. The very delusional Power Cat Greg here once again sharing his thoughts about what's happening in pop culture with the goal of just keeping our minds sharp and up to date, and hopefully at least finding the silver lining in all the insanity that's happening, and hopefully just at some point just rekindling that nostalgic flame that might be inside. Well, not might be inside, it is inside all of us, but just bringing that back up to the surface and realizing that we can still be entertained for entertainment's sake. So we got some articles pulled up here today. Kind of the main articles that I saw is Kojima apparently has some thoughts about games, current games nowadays. So we've got that. And then this has been ongoing for a while. We've heard a lot about it before, but I guess there's some updates on the Smash JT Alyssa Mercante lawsuit. So we'll check into that as well. And then we've got some other interesting articles that I found sprinkled in between. So let's hop to it and let's have some fun, shall we? Whoop, whoop. I just added the toot in there to sound cool. All right, so we're starting off with Niche Gamer here. So, unfortunately, a lot of negativity is happening around the world, and that is due to the UK's Online Safety Act now being implemented, and a lot of people are feeling the repercussions of that trickling all the way over here to the US, to other areas and whatnot. And alongside that censorship is, of course, what we've talked about on past shows: payment processors threatening, developers, Japanese, adult content creators, or whatever you want to call it, into bending the knee. One of them being each.io. They kind of bent the knee to the censorship, but now apparently got an update here, and that is looks like they're actively seeking alternate payment processors to counter the censorship. And now this is something that I'm sure many people have mentioned. I mentioned it before, but we definitely do need to find an alternative payment processor. And I feel this one's going to be definitely an uphill battle, just because payment processors, the big people that are doing it, Visa and MasterCard, they are 90% of the credit card's transaction. That doesn't mean that there aren't alternative payments processors out there, but it's definitely something that we could reflect on ourselves and realize that we kind of let it happen, sort of thing. But, we never know. We never know. We were hoping people are reasonable and understand that, yeah, you may not like something. If it's not against the law, though, don't be a little bitch about it. And why would you just turn away money? If you're going to be a greedy corporation, why the hell would you die on this hill of like, well, this goes against our principles? That tells me that if you're worried because you don't like something, like, it's foolish enough that payment processors somehow have this power to literally shut down people. But if they're saying that because, well, our principles, we don't like it or XYZ, that means that the payment processors are probably being controlled by someone else, and we kind of know this too. But they have released, that is, itch.io has released an addendum to their previous announcement answering questions about their hasty response to pressure from payment processors to censor their platform. So, as previously reported, they de-indexed nearly all of their, quote, adult games. This happened shortly after Steam was pressured to add a rule deferring to payment processors to determine what's considered appropriate content. Again, if it's not breaking the law, they can go fist their loose assholes because they're a bunch of gay guys. And again, if it's not against the law, then you're just being a prick and are not liking it just because you don't like it. But by being a little bitch, you're essentially like saying, we don't want your money, which is stupid because as a company, why would you turn away, why would you cater to a fringe group when the majority of people who don't care would give you money? So the situation is evolving as we await final determinations from our current payment processors, Stripe and PayPal. There are still unknowns that prevent us from providing a fixed timeline. In the meantime, we are actively reaching out to other payment processors that are more willing to work with this kind of content. We have suspended the ability to pay the Stripe for 18 plus content for the foreseeable future. Firstly, Itch has clarified that they're not removing games from individual accounts. This is despite some users claiming that after Itch de-indexed adult games, they lost access to games that already paid for. However, Niche Gamer has been unable to verify these claims. Secondly, Itch has clarified that it's never their intent to withhold funds from non-safe for work content creators. They go on to clarify that they have existing rules. Damn, oh, dude. I need to put I don't know. I just want to throw down right now just a gigantic bug bomb and kill, even if it's for one of those really small little gnats, I will do it because I hate those guys so much. I can see them floating out of the corner of my eye here, and it's always at night. I hate it. So what if you see me go like this and stuff? It's because they feel the need. They want to either fly at my nose or hang around my microphone, which there are plenty of other spots they can go chill, but it's got to be by me. I hates it. You go on to clarify that they have existing rules which are used to counter scammers and shovelware, but not to punish good faith content creators. Quote, some have noted a rule in our adult content policy about not processing payouts for infringing accounts. This rule has been in place for a long time to address bad actor situations where a user joins the site and blatantly violates our terms to make sales before being banned. And lastly, Itch goes on to name Stripe and PayPal as the offenders causing them grief. So while Visa and MasterCard have been the target of protests by gamers and free speech advocates, it's clear that PayPal and Stripe are no better. Well, yeah, there's a big thing with PayPal and currently Stripe as well. PayPal, there was stuff about that for quite a while. Stripe, I think recently with the whole X and with Michael Knowles and stuff like that. Well, you may not know, but that's where the first time I've seen trouble with Stripe. Online censorship is quickly becoming a hot button topic, with payment processors censorship entering public discourse just as the UK has introduced their draconian Online Safety Act requiring users in the UK to verify their identities and ages for service ranging from Discord to Spotify. So despite being labeled as a law to, quote, protect children, critics have quickly pointed out that it appears to be a weak excuse for increased government surveillance. So there you go. There's an update on this. So take that as what you will. But yeah, we're going to definitely start seeing more and more in this. And it's unfortunate and it's garbage. Alrighty. So hopping on over to Fandom Pulse here. And speaking of censorship in general and cancellation, apparently a Czech Games bow to pressure from Blue Sky Mob demanding cancellation of a Harry Potter game. Never heard of this before. So they're a publisher of the hit party game Codenames, which has undergone many editions. Now with the promised new Harry Potter version called Return to Hogwarts, the company has come under fire on Blue Sky by anti-J.K. Rowling's activists. Well, number one, why are you listening to people on Blue Sky? They've lost all their, like, you've got no power here because they're too much of a pussy to, like, hang around Twitch or X. Hold on. Ah, dang it. I should have pounced when I had the chance. I saw the little bastard on the wall. I was too busy reading. So Codenames is a fun party game where one uses deduction to come up with, quote, code names, as the name says. It's a deeper version of something like Pictionary that gamers have found to be a lot of fun in recent years. The game has been so successful that it spawned lots of variants from Marvel to Harry Potter, the latter of which had an edition in 2021 to great success and sold out at many retail locations. Because the game did so well, it announced a return to Harry Potter version of Codenames set to come out sometime soon, but activists on Blue Sky couldn't handle it being made. Immediately, their post on the topic got piled on, and users demanded the company be canceled simply for having a game based on the hit fantasy property. They originally posted about pre-ordering the new editions right before they were headed to Gen Con. Again, why would you make this post on Blue Sky? Like, you're just asking for that to happen. Like, you should have expected to be dogpiled because psychos only go on Blue Sky. And if it was such a great success, why would you now then bow out to these fools? Oh my gosh. So, however, they soon found themselves under a cancel campaign from the radical left who demand that anything Harry Potter related be canceled and erased because J.K. Rowling's political and scientifically sound stance that a woman is a woman and a man cannot be a woman. The company issued a statement dancing around the attack, saying, "When we embarked on creating the newly announced version of Codenames many years ago, it was a dream come true for many of us at CGE. The vast world of magic featured in the upcoming Codenames have been a source of inspiration," it continued. "It ignited a passion for learning English and exploring new worlds through reading. It shaped our childhood, sparked imagination, or gave comfort in difficult times. We know many people around the world share the same sentiment about this universe, even among those who have been hurt by the public views and actions of its creator." No, they're letting themselves get hurt. She didn't. J.K. Rowling has done nothing wrong. These people are weak spirited. Do not try to play into the fact of, like, yeah, that these people truly have been hurt in some way. No, the only thing that's been hurt is their feelings, and they can get over it. Deciding whether those feelings should also transfer to the once beloved world is up to everyone, and we fully respect and understand those who do not wish to engage in the game. Okay, so don't cave to them. This set Blue Sky into a fervor, with many users demanding the company itself be canceled and people boycott them. Others on Blue Sky demanded people harass employees at the Gen Con booth this year. See, now that's when a good punch in the face comes into play. Because no one is asking you, it's interesting that the side that promotes love and peace and all that stuff are the first people to resort to this sort of harassment and up to physical violence and stuff like that. So these psychos think that that's perfectly fine because they perceive in their false reality that they're somehow physically and mentally being tortured to the point where they can't exist or function through everyday life. So in order for that to do that, they need to go and harass these people. That's where I say, well, if you're going to think that way, in reality, that's if someone retaliated by striking you in the face, that's self-defense as far as I'm concerned. But retarded. This prompted them to put out another statement. So we're grateful to everyone who engaged with us over the past few days and took the time to share their perspectives. At CGE, our aim was never to cause harm. The people who are telling people to go and harass you are the ones wanting to cause harm. But again, this is a reason why you never apologize. And if you do need to apologize, if you believe you truly need to apologize to someone, number one, have it be towards someone. Like any sort of apology in the world always is going to be towards like a specific person and stuff like that. Then there are times, of course, there are times where you're making an apology to, you know, a general apology to like people out there or something like that. Then there's these people who never cared about your product to begin with, never cared about letting you truly know how they feel. They just want to get mad and they want a reason to dogpile, to attack, and to harass. Those are the people you do not apologize to, because it will never, ever, ever be enough. At CGE, our aim was never to cause harm, and we acknowledge that with our recent Coname announcement, we have. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. We are working hard within our constraints to find the best way forward, and we will update you as soon as possible. The best way forward is to tell these people to fuck off. That's the best way forward. Let them stay butthurt. Let them cry. Let them weep. And if they do try to harass you, then you call security and tell them, yeah, these guys are harassing us, and they'll kick them out. And if then they decide to get physically violent with you, well, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, how I would react, you got to establish self-defense. You got to establish self-defense, because these people won't learn. These people refuse to learn, and their violent like reactions to shit has got to be put into place at some point or another. Not saying to actively go out and do stuff like that, but just remember, you have the right to defend yourself. We understand that what we have done has caused distress. Again, what you have done has done nothing to these people. They are the ones that are the problem, and they are the ones overreacting. And you do not need to cater to them, and are working towards a concrete solution with several members of the affected community. Well, there's your problem, because now you gave them away. You literally gave several people of the supposed affected community to get ready to kiss the ring. Get ready to kiss the ring, because you guys just fucked up. So it appears as if Chex Games is bound towards the pressure of the Blue Sky mob rather than simply put out a fun, family-friendly game that many find a lot of fun. Sad to see. Sad to see. But there you go. Don't apologize. Don't apologize to the weirdos. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong to apologize if you truly hurt someone, but usually when one makes an apology, it's behind the scenes and it's to the affected person. Saying we're sorry to a bunch of butthurt people online is foolish. However, we've got some hardware news concerning the PS3, or regarding the PS3. I mean, it could, or the PS6 first of all, and then number two, it could be concerning to someone out there, I suppose. So the PS6 is to use AMD Orion Zen G, 6 CPU plus an RDNA 5 UDNA GPU coupled with 24 gigabytes of RAM, and this comes from Tech for Gamers. So Sony has been developing consoles for over 30 years, okay, and the PS2 has been its best-selling console so far, and this is true. After a few months, their current gen console, the PS5, will be 5 years old. Today, Sony's Shuei Yoshida announced that the PS6 would arrive in 2028, although the launch date has not yet been revealed. However, regarding the PS6 desktop, it will use a UDNA architecture, which is the combination of RDNA and CDNA. Moore's law is dead previously that there will be two new generations of APU. The first one of these APUs will be Orion, the SoC that will power the future PS6 desktop. It will assume the console will arrive in 2028. This APU will provide a mix of a Zen 6 CPU and RDNA 5 GPU, which is essentially the next generation of hardwares we have now. It is said to feature up to 24 gigabytes of RAM, which is 8 gigabytes more than the PS5s currently have. PS5 or PS5 Pro. They didn't specify it. It's based on like a small amount, but keep in mind that RAM and VRAM share this capacity. The future PS6 portable will be powered by the APU named Canis, and Sony wants to release a new portable device following the failure of the Vita. Although its specifications are unknown, it is rumored to feature the same Zen 6 and UDN CPU configuration, but it will be less powerful. So using the same architect, it will allow Sony to make consoles more similar, reducing development time and enhancing compatibility between the two. Apparently, the portable of the PS6 will be intended to play games at 1080p, which will allow it to play PS4, PS5, and even some PS6 games. I would hope it could play PS6 games. So seen in this light, and assuming the price is competitive, has the potential to sell exceptionally well, given that it will outperform the Switch 2 in terms of performance and will be able to play next generation titles. Well, I mean, anything honestly at this point can beat the Switch 2 because they just now got up to date with today's current games. And by the next time a console or new portable, chances are it's going to be using like the next technology or something like that. So another detail is that the MLID states the PS6 portable might be revealed in 12 to 18 months, indicating it would be released earlier than expected. So anybody interested in the new PS6, there's some information for you. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys thinking of checking out the PS6? Is that something that sounds enticing to you? Let me know in the comments below. So I've seen some people with the new Superman and the new Fantastic Four. It's been very volatile. It's been some people say it's good, some people say it's meh, some people say it's terrible. Moving on over to that Park Place. They have an article here saying the Fantastic Four projected to see big box office drop in second weekend, far worse than Superman. So Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four First Steps is showing signs of stumbling early after a front-loaded debut that exposed the weakness of the modern Marvel brand. According to recent reports from Deadline, the film is projected to experience a significant 60% drop in its second weekend at the domestic box office, potentially earning around $47 million and signaling weaker audience retention compared to its DC rival, Superman. So this comes on the heel of a first weekend that ultimately fell short of expectations and fell short in comparison to Superman's debut, highlighting ongoing challenges for the MCU as it builds towards Avengers Doomsday. So the Fantastic Four First Steps, directed by Matt Shakman, starring the weirdo Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Ebon Moss-Bachrach as the iconic quartet, along with a robotic Herbie, launched July 25th. It grossed $117.6 million domestically over its opening weekend, marking a record for the franchise. Its stars and the director globally debuted to $216 million, a respectable figure, but one that failed to meet Superman's 2020 million bow earlier in the month. Breaking down the domestic numbers reveals a tale of front-loading, a common issue for films that rely heavily on fan hype and previews but struggle to maintain momentum. It earned $57.2 million on Friday. That includes the $24.4 million for the Thursday preview, but saw a sharp 42% drop to $33.3 million Saturday, and then further to $27 on Sunday. This Saturday dip was notably steeper than Superman's 33% Friday to Saturday decline, indicating that Fantastic Four appealed more to diehard fans rushing to see it early rather than broader audience with sustained interest. And then in contrast, Superman opened with $125 million domestically on July 11th. Deadline noted that fewer families attended Fantastic Four, kids under 13 making only 8% of the audience compared to the typical 21 for a PG-13 superhero film. Rural and suburban markets also underperformed by 13%, further hampering its domestic haul. Fantastic Four's global and domestic shortfall underscores Marvel's ongoing struggle to recapture the universal appeal that defined its earlier phases. And then apparently this front loading extended into the weekdays with it with experiencing a major box office drop heading into its first Monday. So after Sunday's 27 million, it earned just 10.4 million on Monday, representing a rough 61% drop. Oh my goodness. From the previous day. So this is a steeper decline than what Superman faced on its first Monday, where it pulled in 12.9 million, which is a 58% drop from its Sunday estimate, contributing to a stronger overall hold. So Tuesday, it rebounded a little bit, 14.2, pushing it domestically to 142. However, this recovery does little to mask the initial weekday weakness. The industry analyst points to factors like mixed reviews, praising the visual effects and script but criticizing pacing, and competition from holdovers like Superman, which continue to draw crowds with its positive buzz. And then Superman's first week ended with 177.7 million domestically, setting a higher bar for sustained performance. So looking ahead, it looks like the second week's concerning. It's expected a 60% decline domestically, translating to approximately 47 million. Enough to hold the number one spot, but a far cry from the stability shown by Superman. And then other outlets looks like they're suggesting different ranges here. So this performance raises red flags for Marvel Studios as it navigates a post-Endgame era marked by inconsistent hits. It was positioned as a fresh start that would be the Fantastic Four, including the iconic team into the MCU with a retro futuristic vibe and teases for larger crossovers, yet its box office trajectory suggests it may join the ranks of the recent MCU disappointments like The Marvels or Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, both of which suffered from front-loading and steep drops. So heading into Avenger Doomsday, slated for late 2026 and expected to reunite major heroes under Russo's brothers' direction, Marvel faces mounting pressure. A massive flop here could erode confidence in the franchise's ability to deliver event-level spectacles, especially with DC's Superman's franchise gaining momentum and already surpassing 500 million globally. Factors like audience fatigue, competition from streaming, and shifting tastes may be at play. But despite these challenges, the four have broken some positive trends, ending a 6-year MCU streak of sub 100 million openings and delivering strong visual effects that have earned early praise. And then the international markets could provide a boost, with the film already showing promises overseas. However, if the second weekend confirms the projected plunge, Marvel may need to reassess its strategy to ensure Avengers Doomsday doesn't face a similar fate. So there you go. I personally have not seen Superman or Fantastic Four, and honestly, I don't really plan to. If I were going to see one, like either or, I'd probably see the Superman one. But yeah, not looking good. Not looking good. And the way this was written too, it almost sounds like even Superman, like despite actually being really good, like kind of was stumbling there a little bit. But, you know, numbers are just numbers in the end. In the end, you know, we can only do so much and can only guess so much. I saw this. I don't know how long this is, but Xbox hardware sales dropped 25% YOY in fourth year 2025. I'm assuming is what that means. Marketing a fourth consecutive year of decline. Not looking good there, Xbox. These are strange times for Microsoft and its gaming division in particular, with such a significant restructuring happening. Their multi-form strategy has borne remarkable results for the gaming giant, but at the same time has also inadvertently hurt its hardware sales, which were already relatively weak. So its quarter 4 2025 financial reports revealed 25% decrease in hardware sales compared to the previous fiscal year. The Xbox hardware is already dead in the eyes of consumers and even Microsoft executives. That's not good if it's like even the executives are like, ugh. The decline in hardware sales is a testament to these claims. It's been underwhelming since the launch of the Xbox Series consoles, and that there was a notable 22% decline in hardware sales in the fourth quarter. This continued decrease marks the 4th consecutive year of declining sales for the company. All right, right now I'm feeling like they're just repeating what we just read up above. And then like this says, they have the audacity to price hike the Xbox Series XX to bump it up to now 600. Yeah, good job there. You did such a good job. Well, the hardware's failing. Might as well raise the price. However, the software front is finally uplifted towards success. Content and service are up by 13%, whereas the overall gaming revenue is up by 10%, which is a considerable increase. And the success on the software end could be credited to the recent Xbox first-party ports on PlayStation and the overall increase in the abundance of first-party games. That's not good, though, that you had to rely to your first-party ports to be on PlayStation. That's not good. Like, it makes it pointless to even support Xbox anymore. Or Microsoft, in that matter. Xbox has been dominating the top 10 best sellers list on PlayStation, claiming 6 out of 10 spots. Despite the decline in hardware sales, Xbox has no plan to leave the console business. It's actively developing their next-gen consoles in collaboration with AMD, which is speculated to be a PC and a console-friendly shell. I'm sorry, but like, all consoles nowadays are considered a PC in a friendly console shell. Like, let's not kid ourselves here, folks. We've been saying that for a while. It makes you go, why not just get a PC, which could last forever, and if you get the right hardware setup, you can use the case over and over. So additionally, Xbox has been evolving as a brand, so expect to see new hardware produced in collaboration with third-party manufacturers. So there you go. There's some more tech information for you. This caught my eye back over on Fandom Pulse here. And that is Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld blasts Fantastic Four first steps as impossibly dull and boring. So Rob Liefeld, the creator of Deadpool, bashed Marvel Studios' last film, Fantastic Four, as impossibly dull and boring. So here's the X post. This was the 5 p.m. Fantastic Four screening at my IMAX. I can tell you why. There's very little repeat biz on this film. It is impossibly dull and boring. Oof. There's some pictures there. That ain't good. So in a subsequent post, he added, buy these original Galactus comics. They are far superior in every way. Marvel has had them digitally. There you go. So he's previously called for Disney to remove Kevin Feige as the leader, that would be Liefeld here, of Marvel Studios following the box office failure of Captain America: Brave New World earlier this year. He wrote, get Feige off the mound. He's spent. A month before this, during an episode of his Roversations podcast, he shared he would no longer be working with Marvel Comics and specifically pointed to how Kevin Feige treats comic book creators. He said, I got the message. The message was sent. You cannot attend the celebration of this film in New York City. It was meant to embarrass, diminish, defeat, mostly, I think, embarrass me. That's not how it works. That just gives me more fuel. I most certainly made that decision in that point of time that I can no longer work for Marvel Comics in any capacity. Because at some point you go, I received the message and the message is clear. He later stated, Kevin Feige does not treat comic book creators well. That is my personal experience. He went on to reiterate points he made throughout the episode, specifically that these major Hollywood studios and producers have failed to properly credit the comic book creators and that they take their work for granted. a rather short story, but to the point, which is what I like. But yeah, yeah. And it makes you even wonder, does like people like Kevin Feige and all this stuff, do they even actually really cared about comics to begin with? Or do they see an area that could just be capitalized on? And in the beginning, they were doing great because it was never done before. But now, we got superhero fatigue, which I think might pop up in a upcoming article we have pulled up here. I didn't read through everything. For anybody new that has just joined, by the way, like what you see here are my first impressions, by the way. So aside from seeing what the article, what the headline is to maybe suit my fancy, maybe very quickly see how long the article is. Other than that, I don't pre-screen these. I don't pre-read them. What you see are my first reactions. Something I try to do on the show is be as transparent as possible. So, moving on over to that Park Place. Pedro Pascal, because we just can't get enough of him, right? Has just apparently described Robert Downey Jr. as Daddy Doomsday. And like what happened? And like what it said, he says here, the internet is enough with this retarded shit. So Pedro Pascal is at it again, referring to his Avengers Doomsday co-star Robert Downey Jr. as Daddy Doomsday in a recent interview. Oh my gosh. Known for his role in the blockbuster hits like The Mandalorian, The Last of Us, and the recently released Fantastic Four First Steps, he's become a staple of online discourse. Well, that's because he's a fucking weirdo and uses anxiety as an excuse to feel up women. It'd be one thing and a little bit more believable if it was like anybody, but it never is. It's always apparently very attractive women or mildly attractive women. Huh. So Pascal has become a staple of online discourse. However, one aspect of his public persona, the persistent, obsessive, quote, daddy meme, has sparked significant debate. Speaking about the upcoming film and the chance to work opposite the founding father of the MCU, Pascal said of Downey, he's delicious. He's loads of fun. He is Daddy Doomsday to all of us. Oh my gosh. Shut the fuck up with this. He's delicious. Dude, just come out as gay. Just come out as gay. No one cares. And they're trying to sell us that this is masculine in some way, shape, and form. Norm says it. Norm, what do you think of this guy? What do you think of
this guy must be a fag?
I agree. 100%. Agree. So this Daddy Doomsday comment reignited conversation in Pascal on how he interacts with his co-star. His recent history of uncomfortable touching with actresses like Bella Ramsey. Wait, he actually has done something with Bella Ramsey? Sarah Paulson and Vanessa Kirby have drawn ire from exhaustive moviegoers the world over. And Willem Dafoe's wife. I don't know if that's Sarah Paulson, but there is a clip floating around with him doing something with her, and William caught him doing it, and he did not look happy, which he should be. He should not be happy. So here, I mean, this is just a hug. Granted, a very, very close hug. But yeah. Some view his near constant embrace of the, quote, daddy term as playful, but a growing chorus finds it insistent, obsessive, and downright off-putting. The daddy moniker isn't unique to Pascal. It's a broader internet slang term, often used affectionately or thirstily for charismatic older male celebrities who exude a mix of protectiveness, charm, and sex appeal. Dude, no, he is none of that. And that's what I mentioned earlier. This is what they're trying to replace masculinity with. And no one is falling for it. The only people falling for that are insecure, either insecure, mentally handicapped people, retards, or the left. And we all know they're already unhinged to begin with. For Pascal, it gained traction around 2019 with his breakout role as Din Djarin in The Mandalorian, where he played a stoic helmeted bounty hunter turned reluctant father figure to Baby Yoda, Grogu. Fans latched onto the paternal vibe, and a meme was born. In 2022, it had solidified. In Vanity Fair video, Pascal famously declared, "Daddy is a state of mind." No, daddy is the sign of being a fucking cuck and simp. And no man should be that. While responding to fan edits and thirst tweets, he leaned into it further during promotion of The Last of Us in 2023, where he played Joel Miller, another grizzled dad protecting a young girl in a post-apocalyptic world. He explained in interviews that he believes the title stemmed from these fatherly figure roles rather than just his looks, saying it seems a little role-related. The meme exploded on platforms like TikTok and X with compilations titled 5 Reasons Why Pedro Pascal is the Internet Daddy, raking up views on YouTube. He's by no means the Internet Daddy. What sets him apart is how actively he's engaged with the meme, turning it from fan-driven to actor-endorsed. He addressed it head-on, attributing to his on-screen dads, but playfully owning it. He's read thirst tweets out loud, joking about being your daddy, and even incorporated it into skits like on SNL, where he parodied The Obsession. More recently, he's extended the term beyond himself. In the July 2025 interview that sparked the latest uproar, he described facing off against Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom as delicious, like we read, loads of fun, and he's Daddy Doomsday to us all. This isn't isolated. Reported suggests he's used similar language for co-stars like Oscar Isaac, whom he's effectively teased in interviews. In a 23 article in Screen Spec, he noted how Pascal jokingly called himself daddy in fan context, blurring the line between Hubert and habit. This picture just explains everything. This is not masculine. This is not someone who gives off fatherly figure at all. Like an actor, he's only acting. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes mediocre. This insistence has led critics to label it an obsession. Oh, it's more than an obsession. It's a lifestyle of simp and cuckness. With Vanity Fair recently pushing the narrative in a way that feels glorified and inescapable. While the meme started as lighthearted fun, a vocal segment of the internet has grown weary viewing Pascal repeated references as cringy, forced, and even creepy. Here you go. Gross. Stop using the term daddy. You're like 60. So lots of negative replies here in discussing films. Take it back. All this man gives off is some creepy vibes. No one saw. How did you not see this coming? Like, this sounds like some people are like, wow, like, okay, I didn't see this coming before. It's like, dude, like, you could not see this, like, the signs. Oh my gosh. Recent backlash is intertwined with unrelated controversies, like being overly touching with co-star stemming from his supposed anxiety. As someone who has been diagnosed with anxiety, that is not anxiety. Amplifying the perception of creepiness. It's an excuse. And that the daddy meme has morphed into something more many perceive as obsessive, especially as Pascal continues invoking it in interviews. For fans, it's off-putting because it feels inauthentic, overplayed, and sometimes downright creepy. I just see it as 100% creepy. Like, he's literally trying to sell, and Downey Jr., when he was like, oh yeah, Pedro Pascal's like what is like the new is bringing masculinity to a different form or something like that. It's like, no, you're trying to convince me that like simps and cucks are okay, and they're not. Fantastic Four continues to trudge along the box office, where it has already earned less than James Gunn's Superman in the opening week in comparison. The question remains, will he dial it back or lean in further? Oh no, he's going to lean in further, 100%. He's already given his mentally ill brother the delusion that he's a woman when he's not. Like, come on now. Let's not kid ourselves. So, with that all being said, we're getting to the point where a lot of people are starting to say that not all video games need to be be real. You don't need to have these gigantic gigabyte-sized games and have them be real. And apparently, The Last of Us dev believes the pursuit of realism is ruining games. A Last of Us dev, of all people, is saying this. So gaming visuals have reached a point of diminishing returns over the last few years, with AAA games requiring an increasing amount of time to make. At the same time, these titles cost more and produce visuals that are only marginally better than games from 6 to 7 years ago. Discussing the subject, social media users recently claimed that the pursuit of, quote, ultra realism in gaming visuals has ruined the medium. Apparently, a former Naughty Dog developer also joined the discussion and agreed with the statement. The cartel down. The industry's big budget problem has led to rising game prices, more monetization schemes, and more. Many believe the costs associated with modern AAA productions are the root of the problem. I say doing all this motion cap and realism and hiring actors to not only do the voices but also look like them is the main problem. So gamers recently shared their conversational opinions on Twitter, and user Davidovink noticed that ultra-realism and AAA budgets ruined game. He pointed to the risk associated with innovating in games today due to longer development times and higher budgets that come as a result of the pursuit of ultra-realistic visuals. Del Walker then joined the discussion. That is the former Naughty Dog developer, and agreed with the tweet. He stated that aiming for ultra-realism requires a ton of work, potentially increasing development time nearly tenfold for something as simple as a walk, run, and jump animation. So he says it right here. He's right. Ultra-realism slows everything down. LODs, iteration time, custom shaders needs, even the amount of animation blends goes through the roof. A simple walk into run, turn, and jump can start needing 50 animators versus 6 if you're happy for them to move, like Earthworm Jim. And I talked with Doug Tnaple about Earthworm Jim, and that was very animated for that time. And he talked a little bit about it and talked about how he mentions the person about how he wrote a coding just to have that. Insane. And that wasn't a big team. So the developer lately noticed that the future will likely favor small teams with higher efficiency. Oh my gosh, almost like that's how it was done in the past, and it worked. And those games are still being played and talked about to this day. He also praised Unreal Engine, stating that it could serve as an important tool for cost cutting in the future. A similar approach has been observed in games like Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, which were made by much smaller teams on a tight budget. Yep. Such games also have more room to take risks and experiment with new ideas. As noted by Clair Obscur, Expedition 33 director himself, such a game would have been very challenging to make at a major studio like Ubisoft. Yeah, a small article, but gets to the point exactly, and I agree. I agree with what they're talking about. And look, not only has this Last of Us dev pointed this out, but Hideo Kojima is saying not necessarily this, but saying that even the visuals and systems are pretty much the same, and that too many games are similar these days. Apparently, according to this, he hardly plays any big budget games now. During an interview with Canadian fashion retailer SSEN Senensi, I don't know, we'll just call it that. The interview noticed that Kojima sounds disappointed about the state of his industry. Kojima explained that while he was watching the main Summer Game Fest presentation, he felt like every game show involved the player fighting either an alien or a medieval monster. Even the visuals and the systems are pretty much the same, he said. And a lot of people enjoy this, I understand, but it is important to put something really new in there for the industry. I do agree with that. Even according to the report, Kojima also stated that he doesn't play many big budget games these days because he finds the most interesting work is in indie games, while big budget games are safe and boring. Kojima was also asked if he would be playing Konami's upcoming remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, to which he reportedly laughed and said, "No, I won't." So, recalling an anecdote in which he visited a Noble studio, which wasn't named, to advice on a new stealth game it was working on, Kojima said he was unimpressed with what he was shown. Oof. People who are making military games, they probably don't know how to dismantle a gun or shoot a gun, he explained. So that's kind of sad. Ask whether he could. You can get away with the basics. This getting right here is like, that's borderlining the method acting of video games, where some actors are like, I gotta stay in character, I gotta understand. It's like, nah, you don't need to do that shit. You can turn the switch off. To me, a good actor is someone who can turn the switch off. Doesn't need to stay into the character because they'll lose something. It's not needed. Asking whether you could dismantle a gun, Kojima replied, yes, because I've been doing this training as well, as I learned so many ways to kill people as well. Oh. Earlier this month, Kojima said he wanted to be the first developer to make a game in space. I want to train properly, learn how to do the docking, go to the International Space Station, and stay there for a few months, he said at the Sydney Film Festival. Not a scientist, but I could probably make games in space. I want to be the first. There are a lot of astronauts over 60, so I guess it's possible. I don't think so. We need the people that told him to, like, who's like, I want to go into making a movie. They're like, no, just stay with games. Like, maybe we need those people to come up again and be like, yeah, just stick to making games, like, here on Earth, because the juice is not worth the squeeze, you know. Another Tech for Gamers article has this as well, and it's probably kind of going to state the same thing. Does feel like Kojima's the only one trying to do something new. According to the Japanese developer, the industry is becoming too stagnant. And yeah, pretty much the same coverage here. So I just figured bring it up just to see if there's anything different. But with that being said, that was one of our major articles here. And we're coming up kind of on the hour mark that I usually do when it comes with the podcast. We have an update on the lawsuit of Smash JT, Alyssa Mercante. Apparently, Alyssa Mercante receives final filing from Smash JT and attorney Ron Coleman in unraveling lawsuit. Disclaimer, the attorney of Smash JT, Ron Coleman, represents that Park Place and its ownership with their various personas, brands, and businesses as legal counsel. Neither Smash JT nor Mr. Coleman have directed nor participated in the creation, editing, or distribution of this article. So the ongoing legal battle between Alyssa and Smash have been preparing to switch sides, as many now believe the ludicrous nature of Mercante's claims are falling apart. Alyssa Mercante has just been served up the final filing in an effort to dismiss her efforts for a civil lawsuit trial against YouTuber Smash JT in a New York court. The former Kotaku senior editor received the filing along with the court, as some believe this is now an almost assuredly dismissal on the way. For example, here's just one segment from the filing that stand out in particular. Enough public and communal time has been wasted on this dispute over the national honor of a lady, or over the notional honor of a lady who has built a persona around dishonoring herself and the modern women in those name she claims to speak. It should not occupy the good offices of a federal court in New York, and the court should send it back to the no man's land of social media where it belongs. The filing further slaps down even the jurisdiction of the court to hold trial over Mercante's claims. Nothing in the SAC plausibly alleges, nor can the entirety of its narrative, which insists that Mr. Tarzia, that Smash JT, sought to maximize his viewership as opposed to his viewership in New York alone, that any of his alleged conduct was meant to have an effect on a New York audience. The court does not have personal jurisdiction over Mr. Tarzia. Might also appear that Mercante has serious skeletons in the closet of a verbal, self describing nature that could be nails in the coffin of any defamation claims. Lister Mercante previously had colorful ways of describing herself online. There's a picture here. It could appear to any sane reader of this ongoing back and forth that this legal effort by Mercante and her team have only served to embarrass herself and dredge of things from the past that should have been an instant no-go for any attorney looking to help her pursue a case against Mr. Tarzia. Yeah, it's just to waste time and money. This is what these people do all the time because they know they're in the wrong. They know that they're delusional. They know that they do all these mental gymnastics to convince themselves that what they're doing is right. But at the end of the day, it's to get back at someone that hurt their feelings, and in order to do that, it's to try to weaponize the law in terms of wasting time and money. And I don't know if there's any laws, but there should be a law that when cases like these ultimately get dismissed and all this money, and time gets wasted, they should face repercussions, like up to jail time. Because this is getting tiresome. Then again, I'm just an online commentator with no legal degree. What do I know? This is true. The article said this, but I'll also state this as well. I'm just an online commentator. Except that now I know Mercante described herself and behaved in such a way throughout prior years, it makes me even less inclined to understand what the heck companies like Kotaku were thinking, having her ruin their business. No, they were thinking, number one, Kotaku was catering to the woke mob, so they would just hire anybody. And they hired Mercante, who filled out, at the time, that woke mob checklist. And then she went off the deep end, like all these people do. But that's Kotaku's fault. And in the end, these people, Kotaku and Mercante, eat each other alive. So let them fizzle out and drown, as far as I'm concerned. You ain't gonna get any. You're not gonna see any tears from me about this. We were just trying to do what was right and progressive. Well, you're on the side of evil then. So we got some tweets here. Oh, gosh. I'm not even going to read that because that's quite disgusting. 8-Bit Eric mentioned something. But yeah, you can just read it. Pause the video and read it yourself if you want to. I'm skipping that because that is 100%. Something that it could be vomit-inducing for some. Whether or not Miss Mercante and her team now face a countersuit from Tarzia and Coleman is something waiting to unfold. What is more crystal clear is just how much money and effort has been spent by the defendant to protect against someone who, in our analysis, comes across as rather silly and sad. That's a very nice way of saying it, but sure. But in the end, perhaps this is how the Access media finally gets the message that unserious people should not be allowed to handle serious business, covering even pop culture. I think it all should showcase that unserious people should not be allowed to weaponize the law over something that they know is ridiculous and not worth the time. But there's an update for you if you're interested in that. Let's end on a high note here and talk about video games. And that real quick over on Fandom Wire here. I guess one of the new Nintendo Direct showcased Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Could be the lore bomb Zelda fans have been waiting for. I actually enjoyed Hyrule Warriors. I like those type of games, so that's pretty cool. I didn't watch any of the Nintendo Direct. According to this, what's interesting is the game is set before the events of Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, see, I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom, nor Echoes of Wisdom. I need to. All the theories you had about the time skip in the last two Zelda's games apparently will be answered. And then judging by from the showcased gameplay, Age of Imprisonment likely won't follow Zelda's regular RPG formula. It would probably use a more hack and slash approach. Ooh, I do like me a good hack and slash. But still, let's not jump to conclusions already. I guess I'll have to watch the video if it's more hack and slash. So what's up with all the hype? Well, players never got to know what happened after the end of Breath of the Wild. Suddenly, with the next game, we are introduced into an environment that's set in the future. So the missing events have kept many fans wondering and assembling theories. You can read it on Reddit. So, okay, I can pretty much get what they're going with this, is that Hyrule Warriors might explain like this, these time skips. So I'm not going to really bother finish reading this. I just thought it was interesting here. This was one of those where it's like, oh, in case you haven't noticed, you could check this out here. Let's see. Apparently it's coming this winter. No release date yet, but possible could be December of 2025 or January 2026. Me hopes that it's not just for the Switch 2, but also for the Switch, because I have no intention of buying a Switch 2 anytime soon, unless I get, I don't know, incredibly rich or something like that. But I don't foresee that happening. Well, that's all I had for you guys today. So let's end off by seeing what games were released or consoles throughout the years on this day, and then we'll check out tomorrow as well. Ooh, there you go. Game Boy. Very big achievement. 1989, 36 years ago, the Game Boy was released on July 31st. Crazy. That would also include Super Mario Land, Tetris, staple games. I actually enjoy Super Mario Land. We've got Adventure Island 3. Was released 33 years ago in 1992. Let's see. Shining Force 3 for the Saturn, 1998. NFL Blitz 2000, 1999. I know some people like that. I'm not too familiar with these other titles here. I've heard of Harvest Moon, 2007 PSP. Monster Rancher Battle Card Episode 2 for the PlayStation. There you go. Phantasy Star Portable. Fatal Frame. Mask of the Lunar Eclipse for 2008 in Japan for the Wii. Harvest Moon, The Lost Valley, and Skytree Village. Apparently, something's come out this year or something. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Haven't heard that. I need to play the Ninja Gaiden. I never played Ninja Gaiden Black 2 when it came out. And I know they recently just released that again. I need to get on that. There you go. Some really solid stuff here. And then for tomorrow, we've got, Double Dragon. Double Dragon 4, The Shadow Falls for Genesis. Mega Man X4 for Saturn and PlayStation. Released in 97. Royal Rumble. Love me a good... Golden Sun. I actually played Golden Sun. Really good game. I need to continue that series. Capcom versus SNK 2. If you like Pokemon Pinball, Ruby and Sapphire, there was there. Super Monkey Ball Adventure. Some people really liked Super Monkey Ball. Monster Hunter Tri. Those are the titles that I'm kind of like. Some I've seen, some I play. Not a bad list. Not a bad list. Well, thank you everyone for hanging out with me again tonight, and shout out to everyone who helped me reach the content creator program over on Rumble. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot for your help. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to call it tonight. Let me see here. Anybody on YouTube that I follow? Oh, Drunk's online. We'll raid Drunk 3PO on YouTube. And then over on Rumble, Let's see if we can find a retro game that's online or something like that. Any retro games? Hmm. Ooh, someone's playing Resident Evil 5. That's a Resident Evil game that hasn't been played a whole lot then. You know what? Why not? We'll do Resident Evil 5. Oh no, I lost it. Where is it? Here it is. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. Trying to build a retro gaming community here. So thanks again for everyone for hanging out. Make sure to like and subscribe. Turn on notifications to get notified when I go live. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the flip side and hopefully see you tomorrow. Take care. Peace. God bless.